Alright, hey guys, welcome back. So I wanted to do another just short little video, and this is not going to be on anime but on books. And the reason I'm doing this video is because I have read for the past 3 days, otherwise I'd be doing anime. I had read some really interesting books and I wanted to share them with you guys if you hadn't read these books. And this is only because I find this genre really rare. And this genre that I'm talking about is the villain protagonist. It's where the bad guy is the main character for the novel. And while it's very difficult to actually find, I would say, true villains and novels for me that aren't like psychopathic murderers, I'm talking about actual, just, you know, true down to earth evil people who don't care about whether they hurt people. It's very rare to find those kinds of books, and so we often get, if any books on villains, we get these books that have them as kind of anti-heroes or misguided villains. So basically they do evil things, but they do them for the right reason. There's always a good reason for them doing these things. And so when you see them do these things, you aren't so upset. Like if they kill somebody, you're like, oh, he deserved to be killed. Or if they steal from someone, you're like, okay, they can steal from that person because he was an asshole. You know, they always make up these reasons why they can do these evil things. But at the very least, they're doing evil things, and they're the protagonist of this story. And the two ones I want to talk about are A Not So Dark Mage and The Demons of Astlan. And I'll start in the order I think they are good, and they're about equal in my impression of how they do the protagonist. And so the first one, The Demons of Astlan, you basically get a main protagonist who comes from our world and is dragged into a fantasy world. And as he's dragged into a fantasy world, he's summoned as a demon. And as a demon, he learns all these, you know, things about how demons form contracts with wizards, and how he's supposed to be, how everyone thinks demons are evil, but in reality, they're just humans from another world who get pulled in and become demons because people think they're demons. So basically, they take the form of what people perceive them to be when they're traveling, when they get pulled into this realm. And so he gets summoned as a demon and has to do demon things because everyone thinks he's a demon. But in reality, all demons in this world are humans. They're just humans from another realm. And so he learns about all these things about how to cast spells and how to shapeshift. He learns basically all the demon things you would in the traditional Christian demonology. And you also get to learn basically how all the demons cope with living forever, because in this realm, as he's pulled into it, he becomes kind of like a spirit who never dies. So he can be killed, but he gets basically sent back to this thing called the abyss, which is hell. But in this abyss, that's where everyone lives at. So he gets to meet other demons, and they say, oh my god, I'm getting summoned by my master again, I have to go back. And he does lots of details of how summons work and how contracts work between wizards and demons, and how you should always keep your true name hidden so they can't summon you, and you can't be controlled by anyone else. And so I like the viewpoint of it, and I like how the main character develops. While he's not evil in the beginning, he starts to turn evil because of how people believe he should act. And basically they order him to do evil things. So he slowly gets angry and angry. He wants to kill, you know, the wizards who are making him kill people. And so you can kind of see how over like 1,000 years that, you know, good people can turn evil just because everyone thinks they should act evil. And just how he reacts, just how everyone in the world just fears him. And he's like, okay, maybe I should pretend to be a demon, because everyone, you know, won't believe anything I say, because everyone says demons are master liars. They're deceivers. You should never believe anything demons say. And so no matter what he says, everyone will just think he's trying to trick them into thinking he's a human. or being, nice and stuff. And so I really enjoyed this series. Oh God, oh, okay. Oh God damn it. I was in a kneeling position and then I kind of fell over. But anyway, as I was saying, yeah, and that's the highlight of this book, Demons of Astlan. It's just a demon coming into his powers and becoming more powerful and more demonic as time goes on. And we get to see a lot of the different characters, just how they react to him. He gets to fight holy knights and priests, and it's really good seeing the evil guy, fighting the good guys for once. And so that's why I really love these kinds of books. And so that's Demons of Astlan. And the second book I want to talk about is called A Not So Dark Mage. And A Not So Dark Mage, basically there's a family of dark wizards, and they send off their children when they turn 16 to go on a quest for glory and to come back home with riches and decapitated heads and all the glory and fame and of being a dark wizard. And they have to go out and show their worth to the world. The problem is the main character for this series is a guy who has no talent in dark magic. He has all the talents of a good wizard and none of a dark wizard. And so when he's getting sent off on his quest, everyone thinks he's gonna die because he's so good. Even though he's so good to the point where no one thinks he's gonna do anything. They think he's gonna go off and then just die at the nearest village, because he specializes in healing. That's his talent. His talent is in healing magic, and it's always been such an embarrassment for him in this family, because his family wants him to be evil, and he's like, I'm gonna be evil, but he's too good. So he's like, he never tells lies, or he's bad at telling lies. And he's very loyal to his mother. And his mother, even though she's like a cruel mistress for everyone else, she really likes this son because this son is her last son. All the other siblings they have either died or killed each other, because that's how the Dark Wizards work. They have 7 great families that rule over this nation of Dark Wizards, and each family has children. And these children kill each other to become closer to becoming the head of the family. And unfortunately, our main character was the youngest one, and he just stayed out of everything because he's good, or he couldn't really do anything anyway because he's too helpless. And everyone killed each other off. Either one way or another, they all died, and now he's the heir to the great dark, his family, his great dark family. He is now the heir to that family. And so his mother, was like, God, he's too weak. She never says he's weak, but I mean, he's too can't do anything dark, and he can't kill anybody. And it's kind of funny to see how in this family, all the bad traits, all the things like murder, rape, and pillaging, all those are good. And so when someone says you're nice or you're kind, it's an insult. And so he's like, you're a little too kind, son. You need to man up a bit and start killing some people, so we can properly get you initiated into this business. And he's like, I'll try my best, Mom. I'm gonna obviously kill everybody in my way. I'm gonna be the best dark wizard ever. And so you can see that even though he is supposed to be bad, he's doing it for all the good reasons. Helping his mom, being good, and a loyal son. And you can see all these good qualities in this guy, even though he wants to do a lot of bad things. And it's really hilarious to see him as he goes out. He's like, I'm a dark wizard. You should obey me. And he's doing all like the silly things that you would expect from a good guy, but he's a bad guy. And so when everyone's like, what? This guy's a joke. What the hell are you talking about? And he's like, you should obey me. And just how he talks and how he kind of treats other people based on how he looks at things. And it's just hilarious, it's like, I don't know. Let me focus my thoughts for a bit. So it's more like the way he interacts, the dialogue between him and the other characters that I find the most amusing, because since he comes from a place where everything bad is good, when he talks to people about killing and stealing, it's like, hey, I should be able to do that because I'm a dark wizard. No one cares. I can do whatever hell I want. And then his friends are like, no, you can't. It's like, there's laws here. And it was like, I don't obey any laws. And it's like, well, you're supposed to, or else you get killed. And so it's hilarious to see his companions as he goes along this quest to, become a great dark wizard, how they save him and how they react to some of his impressions. It's like, it's really interesting. It's really interesting, especially how he talks to everybody. He treats everybody equally, which is good, but at the same time he treats them equally bad. So it's like they like him for having a very, I would say, open mind, because he doesn't take anything for granted. He takes everything at whether it's good or bad for the person. It doesn't matter for morals or anything like that. He has no prejudices. He doesn't care if you're a different race. He doesn't have any care if you're poor or rich. He only cares about power and how useful you are, how skilled you are. And so he has this really nice viewpoint of how everyone is kind of equally useful, should be treated better than those, even if they're rich, to be treated better. And so it's really nice because you have nobles who are rich but they're somewhat useless, and how he just treats them poorly, and everyone's like, whoa, that's not how this world works. But he's like, that's how the world works in my land, the dark mage land. And so that's what I really enjoy about this series. Not to mention that the book writer of this has read lots of mangas, and so you can kind of see that in the way he presents his characters. He's slowly building up a harem in this series, and so it's kind of interesting to see some Japanese elements in this novel, this American novel, just to see some of the elements of the harem. And you have the Sudandre, and you also have some interesting, what is it called, Yadandre business going on there as well. And so, yeah, I like it. And these are two really fantastic books about villain protagonists. And so, as I am going along, I'm hoping, because each one of them has a sequel, so I'm hoping as I go along to read the sequels and be able to enjoy it a bit more, because these are kind of the books I like to read. I like to read villain protagonists, and I also like to read books where people get transported from some other world to a fantasy world. This kind of transportation where they bring extra knowledge to make themselves extra powerful, give them an advantage over people. I like these. These are the fantasy books I truly enjoy, and I hope you get to see them, and I hope to see more of them as well. So, yep, that's my little spiel, just wanted to do this little review because I really thoroughly enjoyed the last 3 days of reading these amazing books. See you guys next time.